Awesome. Thank you for the introduction, Laura. My mom's here. So I'm really excited to be here. I went to Penn State Lehigh Valley and actually came here too for an alumni event. And I was just so impressed with just this entire place, and I loved it. And I'm really excited to be partnered with the factory and Honey Stinger and a couple other brands here. So it's really an honor to be here, and thank you for your time. And you guys have a great lunch. Like, I'm always excited to come here. But so I am Mandy Marquardt, and I'm originally from Germany. I actually I used to come up here and race when I was younger. And here a little bit when I was younger, kind of the beginning of my journey started in Florida, and I was cycling and running and doing tennis and all these sports because I loved being outdoors, and my parents were always just really advocating for me to be out and not, stuck inside. And I would, go to different races, competitions, and I really found my niche with cycling because I really wanted to try triathlons. And my dad said, okay, this is a great place. He Googled it, looked up a velodrome. I had no idea what that was, and it was right in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And through there, it was a safe place for me to ride because on the road it can be pretty dangerous. And so I learned to ride a bike, to compete on the bike in 2002, and I competed at my first nationals. In 2003, I did the road and the track, and it was pretty cool because within a year I was pretty successful, even though I didn't really know what I was doing. But it was a cool experience, and I got to travel, and the bike was always like, I guess you could say, kind of an escape because I was playing tennis and swimming. I just felt very static, and the bike just took me to really cool places already at such a young age. And then, growing up, I was born in Germany, and in 2007 to 2009, I went to Germany. And I lived with my father because my mother was in Florida, and I took that leap to race in Europe because it's a good opportunity. And at the same time, I was actually going to school we had no affiliation with the Army, but I went to school at an Army base to continue keeping my credits. So I didn't go to a German high school, even though I could speak the language. I'm a dual citizen, but I thought it'd be important to continue my American education there, and my dad and my parents made that possible, which was a really cool experience. And on the side too, next to it, school always came as a priority, but I wanted to race and get European racing experience. The biggest difference between these two photos, 2007 and 2008, you can see I'm in the same place. I'm a bronze medalist at the German championships. But the biggest difference for me between these two photos is that here I was racing without diabetes, and this one I was racing with diabetes. So it was really cool to be on the podium. I was diagnosed in 2007 with type 1, late 2007 with type 1 diabetes. And that was a huge setback because I've been an athlete my entire life. And I questioned if I would ever be able to compete at a high level because a doctor even told me I would never be able to. So that was pretty transformational for me, knowing that I can compete at the highest level in my sport, possibly, competing at a national level at the German championships. And to this day, it's taught me so much. And this was just at nationals in California, and to this day, I've achieved so much with diabetes, and I'm thankful for the team that I race for. Team Novo Nordisk, it's the world's first all type 1 diabetes cycling team. And we educate, inspire, and empower people affected by diabetes to live their dream. And through my sport, I've been able to reach so many people with or without diabetes. And it's pretty cool to, right here, I don't have it on, but here's my continuous glucose monitor. It tracks my blood sugar. So it gives me continuous data of where my blood sugar is, and it's pretty instrumental to my training because it's telling me the direction of my blood sugar. Also, here you see the factory on my kit. Proud to represent you guys. You're with me on this journey. This is a pretty cool win because next year is the Olympic Games, and this just opens the door for lots of opportunities and a good step in the direction. So. Through this entire process, I've met so many people, and honestly, it wouldn't be possible without my parents' support, people that believed in me. And so I got to travel, like I said, to some pretty cool places, and the bike has taken me some pretty cool places. Already, like my first year, I was racing on the road with Team Novo Nordisk. We were Team Type 1, then we changed title sponsors, but I was already speaking maybe 2-3 years after I was diagnosed about my story. I was so scared because I didn't want to be judged, or I guess you'd say I was slightly embarrassed, but having teammates that were also Type 1 was a pretty cool experience. And in 2011, I actually got to travel to Rwanda with my team to do some missionary work while the men's pro cycling team was there to race the Tour of Rwanda. So I never knew that cycling and diabetes would ever get me to Rwanda, so it was a pretty neat and eye-opening experience. In 2010, I actually moved up here from Florida. I used to race here when I was younger, and a big part was always my parents were like, you need to have an education. And I said, like, I wanted to do cycling, but at the same time, education was something that meant a lot to me, and I knew it would be important. And in my life today, I could say, like, it's good to have dimensional things going on in your life and not just cycling. So I'm really thankful for that. And then in cycling too, I got to do collegiate nationals, which is it's a club sport, but it's really cool. We do get to compete under USA Cycling. And so I got to do collegiate nationals, earn my degree in business management and marketing, which I'm still really heavily involved because I'm on the alumni board of directors. And also I did some coaching when I graduated in 2014 for a couple of years. I thought it was important to give back. It was kind of the start where my career was taking off. And I just knew, like, I wanted to continue to stay involved at campus, and I think that's really important to do. And I spent 4 years there, so I always said, like, why would I not stick around? But now you could say I'm living my dream. I'm getting to compete at a high level in my sport for the national team. With diabetes, I have 18 U.S. national championships, and it means a lot, not just to have those titles, but to know that I did that with Type 1 and just doing it because I love it. And 2 national records. My ultimate goal is to be in the Olympics, and I know it's a process, and every day I just do what I can. A little bit of what I'll show you about my training regimen and but I wanted to show you what I first do. It's the sprint. So I do 2 sprint events, the sprint and the Kieran, to kind of give you guys more of an idea. So I'm an not an endurance cyclist, I'm a sprinter. So it's kind of like track and field. You have the endurance and then you have the sprinters. So here's a clip. Can I play the video on here? Sorry. Is there any way to play that? Because you put it on Keynote. I apologize. I should have mentioned to you that I have a video. Is it
in the presentation?
Yes.
It's this one?
It's this one, the sprint. The sprint?
Right there.
8. Does it work? Oh.
It's not, but does it play a video? I don't think
Yeah.
Oh, it's supposed to play the video. Okay, I don't know why it's not.
I apologize.
Is it on YouTube or anything, or?
No, I have it up on I could play it from not the Keynote, but the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Is that okay? Or will it take?
Yeah, you can open the PowerPoint and play it from there.
Okay, I'll do that. Sorry for that. Why is it not playing?
Do a right. It looks like just a photo. No.
Okay.
We can go after you do the presentation, and we could
Okay.
open the file itself. Do you
Yeah.
have the file itself on your computer?
I do actually. Yeah, that's great. I should have.
You can just quit PowerPoint.
So I'll finish this, and if anybody wants to stay to see the video.
Sure.
Okay. How do I? My computer's being
Just
weird.
quit Apple Q out of the PowerPoint.
Yeah, my computer.
Play it from there too, actually.
It doesn't open on
We're
mine.
having
It's
issues
weird.
with
I don't
so we
know
had to glitch
what's
in.
wrong with the laptop and that.
It's right there. You just have to hit play. Top.
Oh. Okay. It's showing
Not
different.
Seeing it on her.
It should be, you scroll that way. You scroll that way and your mouse will go up there.
Oh, got it.
There you go.
And should I just play it from here?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We'll do the video.
Yeah, we'll do the video after if you want to stay and see it. Sorry about that. So as a sprinter, it's different from endurance. So I'm not riding on the bike for 4 or 5 hours. A lot of my training is on the velodrome and in the gym. So about 6 days a week, 3 to 4 double days. I'd say a lot of my training is in the gym because we have to build a strength foundation. And a big part of also a lot of like 2-3 days a week, I just go through different cycles in the gym and through track. So we're not always going to be at our peak. You know, there's times we're going to feel super tired and then come up from competition. So that's like a really important to me to understand my training is to communicate with my coach. And also massage, chiropractor, sports psychology. I mean, all these things that I fit into, it's pretty much like, I guess you could say, a full-time job. And I'm dedicated to that to ultimately get, you know, at the farthest level in my sport. And kind of the process of how it works is, so we have UCI racing, which I did right here in Trexlertown. And we do the UCI races in order to qualify for World Cups. So it's a huge process. It's a 2-year Olympic qualification. I go from UCI to get my points to qualify for World Cups. Then I go from to Pan American Championships, which is different from the Pan American Games, which are actually this year. I'm not doing that event because I opted out because there is no significance in points towards Olympic qualification. It would have been an incredible honor, but I'm focused on the Pan American Championships and to qualify me for the Olympics. So Pan American Championships, World Cups, World Championships hold valuable points. And it's not just one race or one qualifier, it's all these events. And World Championships are, well, the World Cups are in 6 different places, countries. You know, Hong Kong, I was there this past year in Cambridge, so all those, my results and those points are accumulation. And this is pretty much my entire schedule. Through this, I'm still training too, but that's why the strength and the gym and the track work is so important, because I know my schedule basically until August in the Olympics next year. And I have to lay that all out with my coach and continue, because we have SRM data, like SRM, on on the back of our bike, and we have a crank. So it's like a little computer that tells us what our power output is, and it's all data. So everything from my bike to the race wheels to the aerodynamics, all those are so important to constantly improve, because these, like, I could qualify a 10th from, like, there's a 10th or 2 that gets you from 1st to 10th or 15th. I mean, the gaps are closing, so you got to think of everything. And I'll say the sport has not only just brought me, like, just with cycling, but I have been able to make friends in really cool places and mentor these 2 young girls with type 1 diabetes. And I'm also a big advocate for competing clean. I actually have a sponsor, Clean Athlete, and they connected with me with the Taylor Hooten Foundation, and this is an organization that goes around nationwide to schools on advocating and competing clean, and I think that's really important, especially in the sport of cycling that hasn't gotten the greatest rep. I am honored to compete clean, and I want to get to the farthest level in my sport doing that honestly and with integrity. So it's pretty cool that I get to do this, and I love it so much. And these two pictures right here were just recently. This is my friend Caitlin Ward. We're competitors, but off the bike, we're friends, and that's really cool what the Lehigh Valley right here, the Valley Preferred Cycling Center, brings so many people from around the world right here. So when we go to World Cups, I see the same faces, and it's just a neat experience. And yeah, like get to compete right here at home in my backyard for these important points towards Olympic qualification. Yeah, it means a lot. And you know, to have your guys' support, I think it's important as a community that you guys believe in me, and at the same time, I love and believe in what you guys are doing. So I thank you so much, and I'm excited to be on this journey with you. And I'm excited to see where, you know, I kind of see like each month, each day, where, you know, where the future is going. And I think it's just important to have a balance in my life too. I make sure to have times, there are a few days in my life where I'm, you know, getting my nails done or just going for a leisure ride or something. I just think it's important to have that balance. I unfortunately lost a teammate earlier this year. She had a concussion. And I just want to say the importance of like just mental health too. She had committed suicide, and I don't know if you heard this, but she went to Stanford, and she was just so hard on herself. And like with all that happening, I'm sorry, it just whatever you're doing, whether it's just living your dream, you know, even going to work, taking care of your family, it's really important to have a balance, to just communicate your thoughts with, you know, anybody that's around you, your coaches, your family, your support system. And that's when I started when I was really young, and that's me now. I still, like, it still gets me. Yeah, I'd love to. Sorry. It gets a little hard, but it's just being real, right? So.
Yeah. Anybody have questions for me?
I don't know if I mentioned the bike I have has no brakes. But these are my shoes. And so this is really cool because it's actually a mold of my foot. They're just not any cycling shoe. So it's really important to have power transfer from the cleat, you know, down to the pedal. And I have so much more feeling, and I can put out so much more power now that like this is my foot, right? Contact. So it's pretty cool. It's all about the details.
When will you know if you I mean, how close to the wire, like, how much in advance will you know that you've qualified for the Olympics?
Yeah, it's a great question because it can always change. Like, I don't know until the World Championships. I'll have a better idea at World Cups, but these UCI races, they just had the European Championships, and like I was just ranked 21, and now I'm back to 24th. And I mean, as long as I'm staying in the top 30 in the world, and there's 300 women that are on the ranking, so to just stay around and continue to close that gap with points. So right after the Pan American Championships in September, I'm actually going to Trinidad, right from there, to race a UCI race. I love it there. It's amazing. The people are awesome. But to get some more points to kind of continue to close that gap. So, yes. So we reach top speeds at around 40 to 45 miles an hour. And behind the motorcycle, our coach motor paces us. And we can reach speeds, like on an indoor track, it's about 70 to 80K. It's a little scary at first. You're thinking like, this isn't right. And then you're like, this is fun. It's a cool experience. It's pretty adrenaline rush. Yeah.
Can you walk through like one of your doubles that you do, like what your workout looks like?
Yeah. So right now, this week, I have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday double sessions. My coach is being really tough on us, and recovery is so important. So yesterday, I had a gym session at 9 o'clock until about 11. My coach does body comps. It's important for us. We're not trying to get a certain we're not like trying to hit a weight class, but it's really important for us to be, lean and healthy, and hit a certain body fat percentage, which works like best. Each athlete's different, and so that's going to help me on the bike because the acceleration and just to get up to speed. But so I body comps, gym. So about 8 sets of 5 of squats I did yesterday to kind of get me back into the swing of things. So 185 pounds, and then we go off of like a 1 rep max, which mine is estimated at 340, but we never do a 1 rep max. So it's always kind of important to look at, okay, where am I in my training schedule? So I do that with gym, explosive jumps. I went actually back home, ate lunch, uploaded my power files for Monday. Just never stops. But then I had a track session at 2, and sometimes it's all like mush, but I had 4 by 250 meter excels behind the motorcycle. So that's 250 meters that I'm trying to get up to top speed, and I was hitting at between 39 and 40 miles an hour. And we change gears too on our bikes. We just don't have, it's a fixed gear bike, so we have to change our gears in training as well. And I finished that session around 5. And then I went home, took an Epsom salt bath, and it's the day. Tomorrow, today, I usually do physical therapy, and I have a massage today. It's one of those things I really do look forward to. It's beneficial. It's not relaxing, but it's beneficial because it gets me ready for that next workout that I have Thursday and Friday. And so, but Friday there's racing at the velodrome, and it's kind of an exhibition night for the medalists from nationals. So if you guys would like to come out to the velodrome to kind of see the racing and see the nation's best, right here at the home track, it's pretty cool. So, yeah.
What's your favorite Honey Stinger product? I mean, do you use it casually as well as to train and for Honey Stinger?
Yeah, so I like a snack bar. I like to use that during traveling, even just after training. I usually have a protein shake, but I also like to have a little bit of a snack before I go home and make a meal. I also, when I go on a ride, it's really easy for the chews I really like, and the waffles. Those are my top 3 that I really always use and enjoy. But I like the subtle flavors too, like vanilla and stuff, or stuff that doesn't really mess with my stomach too much, but it's easy to eat. Yeah. So.
Can you talk a little bit about your nutrition and how it feeds your sport, and how diabetes has changed how you eat?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. A lot of people always ask me, can you eat that? And I said, well, I can, but in moderation. I really incorporate a lot of protein in my diet to maintain and build muscle mass as well, and to get my body fat percentage down. I take injections with insulin. I have my continuous glucose monitor. So it's just, I'm always kind of regulating throughout the day where I'm at. But I have found when I eat more consistently, just really like anything, it's definitely helped regulate my blood sugars. I eat just a really good breakfast. I have overnight oats that I usually make. Prep that usually for 5 days. There's my breakfast. And if I cook a meal, I'll just make extra. And I love wraps lately. I'm trying to kind of stay away from like the breads. Just that extra stuff. If I have a burger, then instead of the top bun, I'll eat tater tots. So you just kind of just if I want to go to Rita's, I'll go to Rita's and get a kid size. So it's just kind of a balance, and I'm still being able to enjoy that.
Are you in touch with the doctor that told you you wouldn't race anymore?
I'm not, and I've asked my dad because he's over in Germany. My dad's living there right now, and I asked my dad if he could get in touch with him. He was an older doctor, so I don't know if he's working there anymore, but I hope that he sees that there's, maybe he saw my name or in the German newspaper when they had done an article on me there. But yeah, it's possible. So I hope to see him someday, and just let him know what I'm doing, what we're all doing. You guys want to see the video? Get the video? Okay. Yeah. I'm losing the mouse. Do I exit it out? There? I don't have the mouse on the
Which
laptop.
one is it? Do you need QuickTime for it? Is it
I
a QuickTime
believe
video?
it's .mov.
Yeah. Just open up one. Where's the mouse?
Yeah, so the track that we have here is an outdoor 333. So you'd say it's a power track because it's long straights. Yeah. There's one of them. And then, oh, there's the other one.
Okay, that's QuickTime. So you actually want to click on that.
Oh, I get it. Got it.
No, you want to hit open right now.
Sorry.
And then drag it over to the other
Cool.
screen. Let me drag it over for you.
Oh, you have to drag it. Got it. I might need your help again.
Sure, no problem. Let me know when you want to play it.
So this is an indoor 250-meter track. It's the only indoor velodrome in the U.S., which is kind of unfortunate because I'd love to see more of these around the U.S. Like Europe and Australia. Well, Australia, you know, the size of Australia has 4. So I have to travel all the way to California during the winter months to train to get ready for the World Cup season. But this is the sprint. This is a sprint tournament. So where do I press play? Okay. So this is a sprint tournament. I qualify in the morning. So this is my other national teammate, Maddie. We're in the finals here together. Is there a volume or no? Okay. Well, then I'll explain it too. I'll speed it up. Is there any way? No? So in the sprints, you have to qualify a time, right? So you're then first goes against, say, 12th, then second goes against 11, and then we bracket. It's kind of like golf or basketball. To get to the finals, we've basically been racing all day. And the stare down is pretty intense because you kind of usually want to intimidate your opponent. It's kind of one of those, like, it's game on. We're rolling really slow here because I want her to kind of bring me up to speed. And I'm not just going to go off the line and go really fast. We have 3 laps at this point. So it's like sprinting is very tactical and technical because the physics of the track is what I want to use. So right here, we're going pretty slow still. Usually people are like, why aren't you racing? Well, the race will happen. And that's why sprint is so different from endurance. And as you know, sometimes, so in one of the races, this was the first ride. In the second ride, I was the front rider. But I can take away the front from her, which is what I do in this one. I'm trying to remember. So she qualified 11.19. I qualified 11.22. Like the margin, it's so close. But even though she qualified like 0.2 faster, it doesn't mean the race is over and that she's won. In qualification, like we've raced all these people in the morning, and now we get to race together in the finals. And we've raced together in the finals since 2015. Every time we've went to 3 rides. She won 1, I won 1, and then we had a decider. So in 2016, that was my last individual championship because she won the last 2 years. So it was always like, it's a mind game too. You're in your own head. She wants me to take the front, and I am pushing the pace a little bit because my gear's pretty big, and I know her gear's big. So here I go underneath, take the front. That's okay because she gave me the front. She opened it up. Like if she fought it, that would have been a warning to me. But like anything, you have to take a risk, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But here, I'm rolling it up. I'm staying low on the track because I don't want her to take the bottom from me. She gets height, so that means I want to come up because physics, right? She has height, I have speed too, but I want to take the speed away from her. And then I accelerate again. she's trying to get a good run on me, but I just have her stuck on my hip because I ramped it up to my speed. And that's how close it can get. It can get to like photo finishes. But that's one of them. The sprints are so cool because you could be racing someone that has a short acceleration, and I have a long sprint. So I'm like, we can take this long, and I don't mind. I'm pretty confident in that. I don't like when the race is short. And sprinting is changing because the gears are getting bigger. So any questions on that? Did I explain it okay?
Yeah, that's good.
The incline? That's right, the incline on it. How do I, sorry. The incline on this track is 48 degrees. So you actually have to be moving like 12 miles an hour or you'll slip off the track. On this track here in T-Town, it's like 23-degree banking. You can pretty much, it's concrete, it's pretty grippy. You don't have to worry about falling. And then this is the Kieran. It is so this, I didn't want to, this beginning part with this, we are at the bottom of where everybody lines up to go up to race, right? So we all have our name on this iPad. We click it and say, I think in this race I drew 4th, and then everybody draws certain positions, so it's at random. Then we line up, and then the motorcycle comes through, and then we all get behind the motor, and then the motor pulls off. Then with 3 laps to go, it's pretty much a drag race. But you're not going to go and lead it out just like the sprints. It's very tactical. There's different speeds. Like in this race, I knew the speed was at the front because Maddie was at the front. I knew these 2 girls, and back, one was in front of me, one's behind me, or they were both behind me. They were waiting for me to go. I'm leaving a gap here. The gap was a little bit bigger before because I'm trying to take a run at the wheel to like make my pass, and I knew Maddie was just going to stay at the front. So that's what's happening. So I watch her. I know the speed's coming up. I have a big gear. I start to make my move, and I see Maddie not look. Now she's looking. I make my acceleration. I don't go full out here. She kind of floats it. I hit it again. And yeah, it's one of those races that it can happen anyway. I mean, positions change really fast, but Maddie and I qualified 11-1, 11-2. The other girls qualified 11-8. So there's a big gap difference. I definitely wish more women in the U.S. got into the sport, but we have these younger girls coming up in the sport that are incredible. And so it's great, you know, that it's not our goal to be the best in the U.S., but to be the best in the world and to go to nationals and compete together. And with the younger riders, you know, doors open for them, and they can see that it's possible. And yeah, it was just at nationals, and I'm happy to take home the win these 2 events leading into Pan American Championships that I have soon, and for an Olympic year next year.
Do you guys share data and like the improvements in your cycle or what you're changing, or is that like big secrets of what you're doing?
Yeah. I would say that I don't really know her training plan and what she's doing. When we were doing the team sprint event, we were more in tune with the Olympic Training Center and what was happening, like what was she doing, what was I doing, because we had a team event too. But right now that is not the focus anymore. The focus is qualifying a spot for individually. So it is a battle for individual spots, but she could qualify a spot in a Kieran, I could qualify a spot in the sprint. But yeah, I mean it's a battle. But I know like competition brings out the best in each other, so I think that's important. And I'm happy, and I trust what my coach is doing, and I'm happy to be here at home, training at this facility. And when I have to go to LA to train, I don't mind it, even though it's indoors. I like being outside, but I'm fortunate to go to the Olympic Training Center when possible. It's just at altitude, so as a sprinter, you don't want to be at altitude because it fatigues you. You know, you put yourself more in a hole. Great, it's good for endurance, but not for a sprinter because we're putting ourselves in quite a hole with sprinting because each effort is maximal. So I'm glad I get to be here leading into the Pan American Championships, which are in Bolivia in September 4th to the 7th, and that's at 10,000 feet at altitude. So higher than the Olympic Training Center. So going into it, nutrition, sleep, data, everything is going to be so important leading into it. So I'm nervous, but I'm excited. Any questions?
Well, thank you so much. It's good to have you here.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. No, these are my medals from nationals. But yeah, thank you for your time, honestly, and thank you for listening. And it's hard to cram in the sport in this time because it's so intricate. And I mean, each sport has its own intricacies, but there's just so much to it. And I hope more people get involved or support it and see it because it is such a cool sport. You get to see all this happen in a circle, and it's incredible. It's a lot of fun, and I'm happy to be a part of this and glad to have you a part of my team. So thank you.